Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another brief video update. I'm going to try and keep today's quick. I want to go over some of the exciting things that we did in last night's board meeting. Before I get into a couple of the more substantial things, there were a couple of announcements, and I also want to make sure our executive session that we now hold before the board meetings actually start at 8 p.m. Even though we convene at 7:30, we go into closed session and come out. This is to attempt to cut down on the amount of time we spend in closed session. And try and make our meetings a little bit more efficient. And we did discuss Third and Valley redevelopment agreement as well as South Orange Commons redevelopment agreement and Mary Lawn. And we had a couple announcements. SOPAC has recently hired a new executive director. As I've mentioned before, Mark Packer, we're very excited about him. They also came in and did their quarterly report to the Board of Trustees. And you can find that report on the South Orange website if you'd like to. Really exciting stuff, a lot of progress, some really good shows that have just happened and are upcoming over at SOPAC. Seton Hall also gave their update. There are a couple of exciting events that are happening up on campus. One is a Pulitzer Prize-winning poet. If you want to learn a little bit more about some of the events that are happening at Seton Hall that are all open to our community, please go to their website at shu.edu and go to news and events. Also, if you'd like a community garden plot for this season, you can register at the Baird. And if you want to find out a little bit more information, you can also go to the Baird's website or our website. And the registration is in person at the Baird, $70 for the season. And also, electronic recycling date, March 9th at the Department of Public Works. And if you have any questions about what you can drop off or what you can't drop off, just check out the latest issue of the Gaslight, and that's got all the information that you'll need in it. We also finally approved last night a contract for our OPEIU workers, which make up our public works, dispatchers, and a number of other staff positions here in the village. So happy to have finalized that and move on. And we also approved resolution allowing me to execute a service level agreement with YouthNet. So we're also excited about that. On a couple other notes, we did rehire our current legal counsel, our current village planner, and recycling company on another contract. So we did appoint all of those last night. We also, on a very exciting note, hired Chanel Smith as our new deputy clerk. The position has been vacant for a couple months now, and we got over 30 resumes in for the position. A lot of really good applicants. Chanel really stood out with some of her experience. Really excited to bring her on board to the clerk's office. I know, we all wish her congratulations, and excited about, having our clerk's office back up to full staffing. Now, one of the biggest things that we discussed last night, that's been an ongoing issue for too long, is the traffic issues and pedestrian safety on Scotland Road. So because those concerns were brought up, eventually the Essex County did do a warrant analysis of whether a red light signal was warranted for the intersection of Scotland and Raymond, and it did find that it could be under certain circumstances. Now, instead of just deciding to put in a traffic light, just as a one-shot, which could take 6 months, a year, 18 months, we're not really sure exactly how long it'll take the county to install that light. They have to propose it to their freeholders, they have to put it out to bid, there's a whole number of steps involved. I wanted to make sure that there are going to be immediate, short-term solutions that are going to help improve pedestrian safety and reduce speeding on Scotland before that light happens. And also, a common misconception is that traffic lights help reduce speeding. They do not. In fact, in some cases, they can actually make the problem worse because people will speed through the yellow light to try and make it through. However, the red light will allow pedestrians to much more easily cross Scotland Road at that intersection. There are a lot of children that cross. There is a crossing guard station there during school hours. So instead, again, of just taking a one-shot, I put together a plan in consultation with our engineer, the South Orange Transportation Advisory Committee, and others that outlines 10 points, a way to improve the safety. I'm going to briefly read those 10 points, and if you want to find out more information about any of them, it's about a 12-page document that I put together that is on our website, available for you to look at. And we did approve this last night by a 5-to-1 vote, Trustee Goldberg being the one voting no. Number one is it creates primary and secondary crosswalks. The primary crosswalks receiving the most attention, either with some sort of red light device That's at Montrose in Scotland and now Raymond in Scotland. The secondary crosswalks receiving repainting and other improvements. We decided that we have to repaint everything, so that's number 2. Is that each crosswalk is deciding what each crosswalk is going to get. Each intersection, Terrell in Scotland, for example, there are no crosswalks at all. So it's painting all the ones where there aren't, repainting the ones that there are, putting paint markings down on the road itself, warning drivers of the crosswalk ahead, and then on Raymond in Scotland also looking to put a traffic signal device in. Number 3 is targeted police enforcement that we're going to work on basically a monthly schedule, making sure that we're hitting the hours of the day where the speeding and other problems are the worst. Number 4 is a no tolerance policy immediately going into effect for basically commercial vehicles, trucks, and buses. We've gotten a lot of complaints about those. I'll be sending letters to the companies that we've identified as frequent violators, letting them know that they need to follow the speeding and traffic regulations. Number 5 is to place extra signage at the north and south entrances to Scotland Road that basically say that this is a strict enforcement zone, and with a your speed sign that tells the driver what their speed is. And actually those signs also do collect data. So the sign can be turned off. We can collect data for a week or 2 weeks on what the speeding patterns are, turn the sign on, and that data will allow us to do performance benchmarking and measure the effectiveness of each of these steps. As we do them, we can see how the speeding rates change and actually use that information to better inform our decisions about speeding areas and other areas in town, or either what other towns are planning on doing. Number 6 is taking a larger streetscape improvement plan, basically trying to make Scotland Road look a little more residential. Gaslight installations, curb sidewalk rebuilding, vegetation improvement, all things to just remind drivers that this is a residential neighborhood and they should expect pedestrians. Number 7 is that we're going to work with the county and the State Department of Transportation to see whether we can create a legal safe driving corridor, which increases the statutory penalties of speeding violations, so that the fines and the points, for example, would be doubled. Number 8 is we're going to look at installing a traffic safety camera, basically a security camera at Raymond in Scotland that would basically allow us to do follow-up investigations for drivers that do not yield to pedestrians or unsafe driving, especially the commercial vehicles. If we have a physical complainant, a resident, the crossing guard who notices someone driving too fast, we'll be able to use that footage to follow up, get the license plate, find the company, and make sure that they stop. Number 9 is kind of the biggest one, which is that with the Transportation Advisory Committee and Essex County, we're going to work out exactly what type of red light signal device that we want on that intersection. There are a whole bunch of different options between semi-actuation or fully actuation, basically whether there's a cycle of the light or whether it's only activated when a car approaches on Raymond and then it switches the signal, whether the pedestrian walk signals turn on every cycle, whether they're only turn on when the button is pressed, whether it's a 4-way stop or just 2-way pedestrian walk sign. So there's a couple of those options that we need to work out within 30 days of yesterday. Number 10 is to implement this plan and every month work with the Transportation Advisory Committee in following up, making sure that the recommendations are being implemented the right way, making sure that we're doing performance benchmarking to see how well it works, and trying to ensure that each of these steps is actually doing the job of improving safety. And if they are, we can make a note of that and make sure that people know that repainting the crosswalks and placing signage did improve or it didn't improve, and we have a better understanding of exactly what's happening. So I do thank the 5 trustees that are interested in improving the safety of Scotland Road and the pedestrian crossings for Scotland and Raymond. This is really important to do. It's been a long time coming. It's been in the Public Safety Committee for a while, and finally, as of last night, we do have steps to move forward. So I think this is a great plan. A lot of people were involved with feedback and putting this together, and I think this will do a lot to help improve the safety issues that have been identified. So those were some of the things that happened in our latest meeting, some really exciting stuff. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to reach out to me, atorpey@southorange.org, or find me on Facebook or Twitter. Also make a note, my office hours have changed to Monday from 5 to 7 p.m. So if you're interested in stopping by, drop me an email or just come on down to Village Hall. Thanks, and I hope to see everybody soon.